Hey everybody, how you doing? It's John from the Foxbody Den, joined by my co-host here, Nick.
Cornelius.
Say that last name for me. And we are joined by the world famous Mr. Call you Mr. John Parker. How you doing, John?
Good. How you guys doing? Good to see you, John. Good to see you, Nick. Honored to be here.
What's going on, John?
Yep. So I just wanted to tell our guests, we've been going to a couple car shows over the past 2 years, and we always, we run into you, we hang out, in the parking lots, and John has told a bunch of stories about Foxbody Mustangs and his experience, and he's been in this community here for 40 years, 1986. Told a lot of funny stories. So every time I'd sit there and listen to him, I would first of all, once I stopped laughing at some of these funny stories, I would say, I've got to get this. If I ever do a podcast or start a podcast in the future, I've got to bring this man on. So that's why we brought Mr. Parker on here today, Mr. John Parker. John, so like I said, I mean, I know you've been in this 40 years now. Doesn't that make you feel
hard
old?
to believe. Yeah, maybe 39. Yeah.
Okay. It feels better at 39. So you told stories about you bought your first Mustang in 1986. You want to tell us, tell our viewers about that?
Yeah, I started right off the bat by buying two at once. Local
Oh,
Toyota.
two at once. This guy
Yeah.
didn't. This guy had the bug right away, Nick. Two at once.
He didn't waste no time.
Yeah, one Mustang and one Mercury Capri. So a Mercury Capri with a blown head gasket and timing belt, and a '79 Cobra that was clipped in the quarter, and so I fixed the Capri, sold that right off the bat cheap. Got a Chilton's manual, ordered some parts off I think it was J.C. Whitney at the time. Cheap timing belt. Did the thing in my dad's driveway, and then the '79 Cobra, I was kind of hoping on keeping it. It was cool. It's a 4-speed car. The 79s, they didn't have the ground effects on the front or the 3-piece wing. It was just the Cobra decal on the side, but it kind of had the plushy red seats. Anyway, that was my first experience with a body shop. And that didn't go so well. So, of course, they quoted me $700 to paint the car. Turned into 1,200 or maybe even 1,400, and they did the body work, and the quarter panel was like all smooth on one side. They lost the whole contour of the thing, and
So they loaded it up with Bondo.
they loaded it up with Bondo, and even at 14, I knew enough to, well, let's just sell this car, So I put it up on the wheeler dealer, sold that, bought an '83 GT T-top car that, of course, leaked like a sieve. That always made it look like you peed your pants when you were driving the car around in the rain. And I think Nick had said that he had a towel in his car or something like that. And
I got the '88 T-top, and back then I would drive around. Wherever it would drip, we would have a towel. Get the towel ready, set the towel there so you could get the water. At least it won't, where you're going out or whatever. You got caught in the rain. So
you got to keep changing your towel, though. It'll get like moldy sitting in the back of your car, right? You go to the beach.
Oh.
People would think you're a fucking pervert sitting in your car with a towel in there. Come
A
on.
wet towel.
Cruising around the boulevard at 2 a.m. with a moldy towel in the back of your T-top car. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And you just bought a T-top car, right? You bought another one from Vinny, right? You're working on something.
Yeah, actually, that's a beauty. '87 GT T-top, 18,000 mile car. Had a supercharger on it early in life, a lot of documentation on the car, but for whatever reason, no motor train. He sat for a long time. And remember that orange car we built a couple of years ago? We had down at
The one that
Pitts.
got hit in the back.
Yeah, the one that got dead center, slammed. That car, when I sold that car, it had 17,000 original miles on it.
That was a nice car.
And that car had such a tough life. It started by, you wonder why it's so cheap with such low mileage. It started at 3,000 miles. That car got clipped in the rear, like totaled. Somebody back-halved it at 3,000 miles. Put a whole different. It had a salvage title from when that car was brand new, basically. And then after that, it had a tree fall on it, and it sat under a tree for like 10 years. So we got it, and Alex, the dent guy,
Uh-huh.
he fixed the roof. Man, there was no Bondo in that roof when that car left here. It was all metal and straight. And anyway, the kid that
Well,
bought
so
it,
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question about that car because you had posted some pictures of it. It just recently got clipped.
yeah.
What you sold that car? What happened? What did the owner do? How did he get clipped? What happened? What did he do?
Well, he said that a pole hit him.
Every time my wife comes home with damage on the car, someone hit her.
Yeah,
A pole hit him.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Apparently, the accelerator pump or the accelerator stuck to the floor and lost control and went backwards into a pole. But it's easy for a 200 horsepower car to get away from you. There's some people.
In reverse.
Yeah,
In reverse.
you can put the clutch in. You know what I mean? Or you can turn the key off. You can. There's a
Oh
couple
my
things.
God.
Yeah,
No rear view camera, I take it, in that one, Johnson.
yeah. So
No, I,
yeah.
I don't. I don't think it was. He was in reverse. It sounds like John was saying he
No,
spun
no, he was
out
doing
and
40 miles an hour or so on a wintry night, late at night, with no insurance, unregistered, uninsured, and yeah,
and,
young man,
and that
young
pole
man,
came out of nowhere and smacked into him, huh?
yeah, yeah. So,
I hate when they do that shit, man. I hate when they do that. So
yeah,
so you bought the car back. Obviously, I mean it's just
I
too
bought it.
much work.
Yeah, so what I did was we stripped the car down totally, and I saved the drive, every single piece off it, wiring harness, everything, and I bought another car off of Vinny, that shell, that LX he had sitting at a shop for years, and
Hmm.
was going to put everything onto that. But then that T-top car Vinny had with 18,000 miles, and I had the
That's a nice
18,000 mile
car.
drive line sitting there
Beautiful
from the
car.
orange, yeah, from the orange car, and I'm like, the two great tastes that go great together. I mean, didn't God just put these things in my way? An 18,000 mile car
With
and
a
an
thousand miles more only, so basically from the
no, the
time you
same
sold it.
same mileage, like only a couple hundred miles apart. They're both
Yeah.
18,000 miles. Yeah, so it's like I put them together, and yeah, Alex, today we were polishing the car. Alex is up here polishing it all day, so it's about ready to go. Just stupid little things. We got to change out the mass air meter, a couple badges, but
And it's
it's
almost
not.
it's almost ready to be listed.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think your buddy Brian wants it. Brian, who, Fink. Come get your
He
car,
wants to
Brian. All
know.
right. People
Now
are
that it's done, he
yeah.
let the cat out of the bag, but now that it's done, he wants the car. He's been wanting another box.
No, he's
He,
talked to me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's like this close. He's got first dibs on it, of course. You know what I mean? I like him.
Yeah.
it's coming back to Long Island, huh? So you,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
picked it up from Long Island, you brought it back to Mass, and now it looks like you're going to be selling it back to Long Island, huh?
Oh, that would be awesome. I'm in no rush. I haven't been spending a lot of time at the shop lately. I've been out in the field. We do drop sealants here too. You've seen, business up front, party out back, and got to pay the bills. So I haven't had the tools on in 5 years, but in the last few weeks I've had to jump on board. And
In the sealing business.
yeah, yeah, yeah. My dad started doing it in '68, and not a lot of people do it, so it's kind of niche market. So only a couple people in our area doing it, and we're one of them. So you can be selective of your work, and
It's getting busy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. We're overwhelmed.
so that car, that T-top car, you selling it to Brian? How much you asking for that car, John? Come on.
I was thinking, well, I'll talk to Brian, but I was going to list it for 32. But yeah,
Brian, 32,000, Brian. You're a player at 32,000, Brian. You're
yeah,
getting that
we
car
can
at
talk.
32,000.
We can talk. That's what I'm going to list it for. It's not absolutely flawless. You know what I mean? It's an original. We had to repaint the hood on the car. You know what I mean? So it's not the original paint on the hood. Somebody already pointed that out in some of the pictures I pointed. Where's the VIN tag on the hood? Well, that car is from Long Island, and it had a bra on it, and of course it got some rust bubbles, and so we put another factory hood on it that's repainted. So it's not like it was a perfect garage queen kept car, even though it is a one owner car. You know, there's there's
Oh, sorry
more
about that.
prime examples out there, but this car is a real honest, nice car. You know, so and
So,
well,
I wanted to get to, I wanted you to tell your story. So, like I said, I know you've been in the business since, well, you've been in the community since 1986. John, I mean, just in the last 2 years that I've been following you, I've seen you probably build and sell 10 cars. I was at your shop last year for the Northeast Fox Frenzy event. You
yep,
probably had 20, 25 cars sitting there in the back right where you are downstairs.
yeah.
I know your father has a separate warehouse with a shit ton of cars, Mustangs. How many
Yeah.
cars have you owned in these 39, 40 years that you've, I mean, if you had to put a number on it, what would you say it would be,
Oh,
John?
the big
God,
question.
it's spun so out of control since the days of 2020. I don't want to say the word, but when that virus
Uh-huh.
was in town, things just got insane. You know what I mean? So it's like things that I posted some pictures the other day of the cars we've done in the last year, and when I say done, a lot of them just pass through here. Some of them are even parts cars, but you take a picture of everything you put on the trailer, and I posted up the pictures, and it was like 46 pictures, and
Since
some of
since
them,
2020.
well, some of them were doubles. There might have been 30 cars last year that came through here. You know what I mean? So it's like, do every one of them count? You know what I mean? If you buy a car and pull the motor and I don't like to send anything to the junkyard, and you know that I like to do the swap meet like you down at Foxtoberfest. You guys have probably been down at my. I know you've been at my booth, and we've done a
Yeah,
lot of horse
yeah.
trading. So I like to buy cars, take off the valuable parts, and then like sell the shell for $600 on Marketplace. Somebody will turn it into a drift car or something. I don't keep every junky pair of fenders that come through. You know what I mean? And you got to look at every car that comes through. Is it worth fixing? What are the parts worth? You know what I mean? Before I even buy it, I got to say, is it worth buying this car if I was to part it out? You know what I mean? Because
But for the most
sometimes.
part, you're saving the shell, you're saving the car from going to the crusher.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't really, if it's a total rot box, you wouldn't believe some of the things that people will give you a few $100 for if they need a piece of the cowl section or a piece of the roof section, you know what I mean? The car could be, you could look at the car and say, I've never seen anything so rotted in my life. And you've probably seen some of the things that I've posted, and how does the ad usually read? This is the most disgusting piece of junk Foxbody you've ever seen in your life. Come get it,
Yeah,
clean
but
it.
when you buy them for what you need for it, and then everybody else chips away at it, and it's all
I,
good
I'll,
metal. At the end of the day, we all need something, and it's like the
yeah,
oddest part sometimes, and you're like, I'm one for it. I buy a whole car just because I need a section of it.
yeah,
It'll be
yeah.
cheaper than try to chase that piece.
Right, yeah,
So
yeah. And you
I've
can
done it.
always send it to the junkyard after a junkyard will pick it up even if they give you nothing for it. You know what I mean? If you have paperwork on it,
Jesus, John, I didn't know you were doing your part to save the environment, man. You're
No,
saving all
yeah,
these
no,
cars.
absolutely, no, absolutely not. No, don't get me wrong. And you know what? It's funny. You know what I mean? A lot of people will come up and they'll be like, "Oh, basically like you're doing God's work," or they might even think they're doing God's work or something. No, I'm doing this because I'm obsessed and I'm trying to make a buck. You know what I mean? Like it.
Well,
Hi, I'm Nick, and I'm obsessed with Fox Body Mustangs as well.
oh man, this is an intervention. We're gonna have an intervention on this podcast tonight.
Half of my day is filled with people sending me questions like what is this? Where does this go? You know what I mean? Or I'll have an ad for a car and they'll be sending me a question. I talked to you at Foxtoberfest. Do you know where this part goes or where I can get this? And but you know what? That's why I have my Facebook thing on my business cards and stuff, because sometimes it's a pain in the ass to find a door lock rod for somebody. You know what I mean? But that's why I save all these stupid parts in trash barrels. You know what I'm saying? So
Somebody's always going to need something.
Yeah,
Somebody's building something somewhere. It's
right.
something that somebody was chasing. It's
Listen,
out there. It's a
at
thing.
at the end of the day, these cars now, some of them are like John Parker, older than 40 years. I mean, some of these are going on 50 years old, right?
Yeah.
And if you can get an original part that's in decent shape, it's better than buying most of
And
this
ev-
aftermarket shit.
everything aftermarket, it doesn't, even like some Ford Motor Craft parts and stuff, if you look at the prefix at the end, if it ends in a C, it's made in China. You know what I mean? And let's talk about TFI modules. You know what I mean? It's like the never-ending story of TFI modules. I've gone through three in
It's
one
things
day.
that you guys, it's things that would be, we don't even think of, like my 93 teal car, right? The
Yeah,
bumper was off millimeters, but it was still off and it wasn't letting it sit flush. You know what I mean? And I found an NOS one on
yeah,
eBay. I bought it and I compared it with obviously Matthew compared it with a caliper, and the sucker was off to a point that it wasn't letting the bumper fit right, so the car wasn't sitting right. So
yeah.
yeah, it's all the new stuff now. It's just going through a production just because of the demand. People are hearing us, but now they're like jumping on, and the demand's coming out. These parts are coming out, and they're really not fitting right.
But yeah, and then the reality is though nobody wants to pay for quality American made stuff. If you know what I mean. If we got the quality parts that we used to get at AutoZone or something, or Auto Palace, back in the '90s or something, it was, American remanufactured parts and stuff like that that actually lasted. And but even today, with my own junk, if I need a starter at my house and Amazon can have me one there and I can drive out of there in 8 hours, I'm gonna take a chance. And you've seen that. If people do that, you know what I mean? If you're stuck somewhere and you need an alternator, you're gonna get whatever you're gonna get.
Yeah, I mean,
I,
I
I
just, I just, I just went through the Chinese crap part shit with Nocturnal. I mean, I had a few upgrades on it, so we needed to change the fuel system, and we went over to the Holly HP kit, and we wound up going to Holly for a fuel pump. They sent two fuel pumps, DOA, man, DOA,
yeah,
right out of the
yeah,
box, and we're like, what the fuck? And then we finally figured it out by going Aeromotive. But I mean, I've been seeing other people too on the Foxbody. Then they've been complaining about these Holly fuel pumps being DOA. I've had two of them in the last month. Finally had to get away from it. And Holly's like, oh, we don't know what to tell you.
well,
Window
Holly's,
regulators,
everything's
right?
been
Window
ridiculous.
regulators. Yeah.
Yeah, everything is junk, and like Holly, we did a few sniper kits, and at first we were like, everything was working out great. They were tunable, and everything you'd read bad about them online, you'd say, oh, those guys their grounds are bad. They don't have clean powers. You know what I mean? It's their user error. We've had great experiences, and then bang, like four bad ones in a row, and just
Yeah.
ridiculous issues, and it might be
We
Listen,
could,
because.
we could be here forever, but I really want to hear back to the John, back the days that you're coming
All
up.
right.
Like, what's the car that was bringing you up? What
Uh,
was the one that was like
all right. So what
John
Fox
Parker,
bodies define me?
Massachusetts?
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah. So forget about that crappy '83 GT. All right. I ended up getting an
You sold
'87.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't cutting it. So I got an '87 GT. It was a stripper car.
Aero style. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's us.
Crank windows, no air conditioning, factory 308 gears, American racing wheels, still running gator backs. Uh, Ported the exhaust side of the head, some 1.7 roller rockers, equal length headers, off-road exhaust. Still the stock muffler is running 13.0 at 104. And I mean, that doesn't sound fast now, but in 1990, that was destroying everything. You know what I
oh, you
mean?
were a fucking gangster on the street running 13 O's back
On
then.
the
On the
street.
street?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and then anyway, that quickly evolved into I had a '79 pace car, GT40 heads, X cam,
Yeah.
heads milled down, little compression. Car weighed 2,800 pounds. I was running a top loader transmission out of an old 390 car. T5s stink. I don't care what anybody says. So, and that car, I was running like the old G60 Hoosier Street Bas or something like that. Hoosier Street TD tires. Anyway, that car ran 11.8 at 115, which was screaming in 1993 or whatever it was. And
You were
Wow.
hurting feelings with those numbers then.
yeah, yeah, and it was carbureted and it was real simple. How many times I had to pop the hood and show that the car had no nitrous? It was hilarious, because I had no money into the car, but it screamed. And
Well,
that
but people would hide nitrous back then. You remember that back in the day? People hide those bottles.
there was no hiding it on this car. That thing was a Victor Jr. intake with a 780 vacuum secondaries on it. There was no vacuum lines, nothing. The thing was, you could see right through it. But yeah, and then I matured into something else, and I pulled that motor out, put some twisted wedge heads on it, put that in the 88 Saleen, and that ended up going only a 12.1, but at 117. So that was a fun car that handled nice, and so. I took some time off though, you know what I mean, with kids and all that stuff. And then
Mhm.
I guess around 2019, I really got back into it hardcore, and it's really
What year did you get out? So like it's a funny thing because I've talked to people about this in the past, right? Like my first Foxbody was 2024, but I grew up, I had a Firebird Formula. A bunch of my friends had the Foxbodies. My first Mustang was an SN95 in 99. I had a Mach 1 in 03, and then I had an '05 GT. And then after that, like around 2007, I got out of the Mustang thing for a couple of years because I had kids, right? So I was spending weekends going to my daughter's and my son's travel, football, softball. There was no more weekends hanging out with the guys, going to the car shows, going drag racing. That stopped for like 15 years. So what year did you get out? When you said kids, right? So you had a break, right? Seems like we've all had a break.
And
guess
if you
that-
got out, did you have a Fox body? Did you keep one?
Yeah,
Or
I've
was it
always
gone.
Oh yeah, no, I've always had Fox bodies. I just, sometimes will ignore them for decades even. You know what I mean? Like my silver Saleen, you've seen that one at the shop. I haven't. That car has not been on the road since my 20-year-old son was 3 years old. So 17 years. You know what I mean? And I've even put engines in it and never put it back on the road. Like I put that car together and never drove it, and then I say, oh, I'm going a different route, pull the engine out of it. Yeah, the white Capri that I got over in the corner, I have the thing together.
So what year?
drive it
What
down.
year was it when you kind of? What year was it, John? When you kind of got out? Like when you were like that?
Yeah,
What,
I
what
would
year
say
was that?
97-ish, something like that. And it wasn't just kids. I just kind of lost interest. I was doing other things, buying houses and fixing them up, stuff like that, But
You were involved in
yeah,
your father's
I-
business, like you mentioned, right?
yeah. So I definitely lost interest for a bit, and then definitely 2019, I ended up buying back a Saleen that I had sold years prior, and that's when I realized. That's when I got into like the Facebook groups and realized what the Fox bodies had blossomed into, and meanwhile had a stockpile of parts and cars. I really wasn't following it too much. You know what I'm saying? And
So you got in. You got back in pre-COVID, right? And although I was.
yeah, I was definitely in it, but I wasn't like selling things massively on marketplace or anything like that. It was kind of like when COVID happened. We were doing a lot of government contracts, and the whole thing kind of pissed me off. You know what I mean? They got a proverbial gun to your head. You know what I mean?
You had to stop working. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I wasn't playing well with those people, and so I kind of.
You're in a
started.
liberal state. You're in
Yeah.
a liberal state. You're in Mass. I'm in New York. You're in a
Working for
liberal
the
state. They
government.
stopped you. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I kind of started focusing more on the back of the garage. You know what I mean? Kind of splitting my time with it, and I didn't. And during those COVID times, I didn't want to have more than 11 employees and stuff. They're starting to change the rules for how we have to behave. Depending on the number of employees we have. I thought it was in our best interest to kind of slow down and do stuff with Mustangs. You know what I mean? And my dad, he's 82 years old. Maybe he's turning 83 in a couple months, and you know, why not have some fun with these cars? I don't know if you've been to my dad's other garages, but he's been keeping the right cars, you know, and some of these cars he doesn't get to enjoy that much. You know what I mean? He might own them for 30 years, but maybe only put 500 miles on them. So, you know, that's why we're trying to, like you see him, we got him driving down to Foxtoberfest, you know what I mean? He's driving down himself in his gray Saleen, you know, 351 car, 6-speed. At least he's getting to do this stuff now. For years he didn't, you know, enjoy these cars. You know what I mean? He was always too busy buying them and working, you know? So
How many does he have, John?
it's really hard to say. Maybe 60, you know, it's really hard to pinpoint. It's always
Fox
changing.
bodies, Mustangs,
Mostly
Mustang,
Fox
John?
bodies. He's got a lot of other stuff. He's got, you know, early Mustangs. He's got a 67 Fastback, a 70 Boss 302, a 69 428 Cobra Jet 4-speed car, a slew of Mark 7s, SVOs. If anybody wants an SVO.
So what's the car that John has been eyeing since he was a kid? That all right?
in
well,
your
I'm gonna
father's
get
collection.
that
Yeah.
from that collection.
You know, definitely his '89 Saleen. Bought it brand new in '90. It was sitting in the showroom for a while. Yeah, I remember picking that car up brand new. It's got 4,000 miles on it now. That's probably the one that I would have my eye on, but I think my sister's going to end up with it.
Oh no,
That's all right. That's all right. It's you know,
it's in the family.
you can't drive it. It's too nice. You know what I mean? But then he's got an '89 Saleen SSC. Did you see that one?
No.
The SSC was quite the story. It was owned by a bouncer at a strip bar, and he had a couple things going on with a couple different strippers, and the thing got the windows bashed out of it, and sat outside with the windows bashed out of it for most of a year, and got a little moldy inside. And anyway, my dad picked it up in rough shape, and he had that car for 25 years sitting there with no engine in it. And finally, a few years ago, a buddy of ours stepped in and put the engine in for him, and that's the car that he had the hood fly up on. Did you catch that at the Northeast Fox Frenzy, the second one?
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
It was under the tent.
Yeah, under
And
the
Alex was fixing it.
yeah. So my dad took the car to a car show with no hood latch, or no, the car, the battery had a dead short. You know, the thing had like a 20-year-old battery in it. So he put a jump pack under the hood. The hood flew up on the way home from the show. So now the cowl's all beat up. Alex comes to the shop, fixes it. My dad puts the hood back on, doesn't put the hood latch on, drives it to the show, and the hood flies up again. And Alex had to fix it at the show. So it's like
Yeah, we were at that show.
yeah,
I
it was
remember that.
It sounds like John. It sounds like John. You need to take possession of that car right now from your dad. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
He's got a supercharger on it, and it's got the 302 brackets, and it's got a 351. So the supercharger's popping the hood open. You know what I mean? So it's something that needs to be addressed. You know, it's another one. He maybe put
What-
300.
What caught my attention is when Alex was hammering this. I'm like, who's hammering on that SSC? What the hell is going on? I'm like, I gotta go see this. And then I heard the story. Yeah, it was like boom, boom, boom. I'm like, oh my god.
Listen, Nick, I've got video of you 2 weeks ago hammering on your quarter panels on your Terminator Cobra. Okay, so
Yeah, on the side of the road, John. It was pretty nice.
I'll be looking at a car. I'll take a picture of it and I'll send it to Alex, and I'll be like, "What do you think?" You know, the mangled
Can we
quarter
fix
panel.
this?
Yeah, and he'll be like, I don't think I can fix that, and I'll be like, "F you, you can fix that." Yeah,
and you buy it anyway and take it to him and he fixes it, right?
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
it's
good.
great.
He's done some dent work on some of my cars, and you know, and he's done phenomenal work. You know, we got a guy here locally too, Louis, aka Mike Jones, and he does
Yeah,
phenomenal
I
work
heard
too.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
No,
they're so gratifying, guys like that.
It's amazing because before I knew Alex, it was like I would look at stuff like that and just be like, yeah, it's totaled. I don't want to get involved in that. You know what I mean? No way can you fix that.
Yep.
But holy crap,
Yep.
these guys are magicians. You know what I mean? So
They really are.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
you had a Saleen, right? So
Yeah, I've had a
back in the
few.
early '90s, when you were drag racing, right? Whatever it was that you were doing, you were on the scene locally in Mass. If I had asked the guys, right, in
Memorial
your
Drive.
town today,
Yeah.
what is the car that you were famous for? Did you already tell us about it? Like, what was the
Yeah.
John Parker car? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would say it was both the blue GT, the 87 that went 13 O's at 104 just because it was such a sleeper, you know what I mean? And it wasn't the fastest thing on the street by any means, and neither was the other or the purple 79 pace car. That's the one that went 11.8 at 115.
Wow.
That car surprised a ton of people just because it was so
So
lightweight.
did you keep those cars while you took the time off? Do you still have that car?
No,
Like,
no, I never get sentimental about anything, you know what I mean? So the purple 79 pace car I actually sent to the junkyard when I was downsizing and moving. And I never thought Fox Bodies would be bringing this kind of money. You know what I mean?
Parker, you had a purple '79 pace car, buddy.
Yeah, but listen,
Purple.
I'm colorblind, so I bought this car. Okay, okay. I
Looks
bought
good to me.
Yeah, I buy this 79 pace car that was rolled over at the racetrack, and it was hardly like any damage on the roof. And so I banged out the roof the best I could, skim coated it, primered the roof, but I thought it was blue. And when I debuted the car, everybody's fucking, saying, questioning.
Brian Fink bought a car. He thought it was
Yeah.
blue. He was telling us, and it was
Yeah,
purple.
yeah.
Well,
But you know what? The story matches.
well, and this one's even worse. So my second ex-wife, right? I'm driving by a car lot and I see this blue 95 or 94 GT, really nice looking car. And I thought maybe, I could make her happy or something. So I buy the car and I call her up and I say, hey, I just bought you, a blue 95 GT. You're going to love it. And I pull in the driveway and she goes, it's green. And I'm going, no, it's not. And she pulls the keys out of the ignition. It says green right on the key. So,
Oh,
but for some reason, I can wire a stereo,
I hope you're not wiring the stereo in the Fox bodies. I
Well,
hope.
I'll find something that I know is green, that's a ground, and then I can compare it, you know what I mean, to other things. I've found ways around it somehow. So,
That's incredible.
now and then.
So that was my next question to you, John. Because we talk about the Fox platform. Obviously, you had some Fox bodies there in the '80s and '90s. Did you migrate over to the SNs? I mean, so you bought
Yeah.
that green '95. What'd you have there?
Oh, which one? I'm sorry, Jen.
The SNs. You bought
Oh, yeah.
your ex-wife a green GT that you thought was
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah,
You had
yeah,
before?
yeah. So
Yeah.
that one, yeah, I wasn't real impressed with that car when those things were brand new and they sat like 4x4s and on their stock tune they were pretty lackluster. But when I really got into them was kind of recently. I always liked the look of them slammed and everything, and I love the Saleen Extremes, with the center exhaust and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've had a few, but then recently I bought a '99 Saleen and with the 4.6 and built that up a bit. That's near 700 rear wheel horsepower. It did 669 on the dyno, but that was a hot day. I know it's running better now, but that's a fun car to drive. And that car I put 17,000 miles on it in a year and a half. Took that out to Motor City. Actually cracked a wheel out in Detroit. They got as good as potholes as Massachusetts out in Detroit. But yeah, that car's been. It was a challenge though. Those 4.6s are tight. Anything you got to do on those things, you got to drop the whole K member. Not a real pleasure to work on, but it's stayed together for 17,000 miles. So I think it might stay together a little longer.
You still own that car, right?
That's the red one, right?
Yeah, the red one. It's just like Ryan's, but without the center exhaust. I want to put the center exhaust on, but I don't want to copy him totally.
Oh
Did
man,
you brought that car to Carlisle last year too? No, no.
Yeah. No,
You did.
last year at Carlisle, I brought that S351 convertible. Remember the red S351 convertible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So it's funny. Yeah, it rained the whole time. That was an awful show, huh? And
Yes.
yeah. We
Yeah.
were under the tent the whole time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We were under.
John, Blue Auto, they were in SN City this year. They got a center exhaust for sale. That guy had a right there on the floor, center exhaust, perfect tips.
Stock center exhaust, John. Reach out to him,
Yeah,
Blue Auto on Facebook. He's got one for you if you want to do it.
Blue Auto. All right. Yeah, yeah. Send me the
yeah.
thing later. There's another kid
Yeah.
making them. You see him on the Saleens forums. I think he's a landscaper or something, and he's making a beautiful center exhaust that looks just like the Extreme tips and everything. I forget
He's
his
making
name.
it.
He's
Well, this
making it.
one had it. The tips are on. I think he was
No.
asking like
600.
600 bucks, 600.
600.
I think had
Yeah.
the
All right,
tag on it,
all right. Make sure you give me the link before this airs because I'm going to go buy it.
He's going to have a center exhaust on that car. like
You gotta
like
give me
that.
This isn't live, right?
Yeah, I know. I posted the video of Ryan's car, and you'd made some comments about how much you love it. I didn't put two and two together. I was staring at it. Yeah, Blue Auto Parts. Yeah,
All right.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna take a picture and send it to you.
yep.
All right.
Blue.
Well, got it.
Yeah, he's got it. He's got it in stock, ready to ship, unless he sold it. But that was 2 weeks ago.
No,
He's got a lot. He's got a lot of cool shit. He's got a lot of Terminator parts. Like I think he goes. He buys mostly the Terminator. Well, no, I've seen him sell other shit too. But he buys a lot of cars on Copart,
Yeah.
and then he finds low mileage, clean cars, and he parts them out. You get some nice stuff. Like what did we
Oh,
buy?
we got a killer deal last week. Like we all loaded up. We must have gave that guy at least $4,000 in that tab between seats, brakes, bullet style flares
cool.
for the SNs. This guy bought the center console. Like, yeah, it was good stuff.
Between the five of us, yeah, we walked over and we made his show.
Yeah.
We definitely
I
did.
think all right, we're just talking about this. Like, I got to get more into SN parts. It's like SN parts is going to be where it's at. And, for years I've been saying, now is the time to buy SNs, So I have been into the SNs for maybe 5 years now, with the Saleen SNs, the S350 and even the S280 ones. It's like now's the time to buy these cars. The Cobras are so overlooked, wouldn't you agree? Even the 94
Oh, yeah.
Cobras. And people always like compared those to the Mustang 2 and stuff. Like they're the redheaded stepchild. Nah,
No.
they got it wrong.
Jen just started something.
Oh yeah,
Unfortunately,
I knew it was going to be a success, and people were
if we
saying,
fast forward 1 year from today, I guarantee you,
Yeah.
the price of these cars, the
Yeah.
hype alone
No,
just
that-
from our
it-
internal circle.
It just went up. That event, and you guys, okay, and the New York crew getting into SNs is all of a sudden putting the stamp on these cars being cool. And you can go back to anybody that I talked to throughout the years. I always said, now is the time to buy the Saleen SNs, the Cobras, and there's a lot of clean ones out there because people did buy them and park them because they weren't like exciting cars to buy back in the day.
You can get them now, John, up in your area, Connecticut. I
yeah.
got my eye because I have my second car from 1997. I got a 96 SN,
Yeah.
but it's stored away. I have a few SNs, but they're like the $3,500, $5,000. You could get a Cobra. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. No,
high mileage, and then they start going up from there. But right now is that Foxbody sweet spot.
You spend 10 grand, you can get a beautiful SN with decent miles. You know what I mean? And even some of
Listen,
the
I mean, we're seeing it, right? Like I remember last year, who bought the first Mystic? Was it Carl?
oh yeah, they're just
Carl.
steamrolls, and everybody's
Oh.
got.
Well, the Mystic.
John, they were like,
I had the first SN, but he had the first Mystic.
yeah.
then it-
So Carl got a Mystic, right? Carl's like the dad of the group, right?
Yeah.
Carl, he says things that's so funny. But like people watch Carl. Carl's got an eye for certain looks and stuff. People watch him like, so he's kind of the guy that like creates a look, and we're like, and then we kind of follow. So Carl got that Mystic, right? Or did someone else get a Mystic? I feel like someone else got a Mystic first. No?
No, it was Carl.
I
Not
can
Okay.
keep up.
Joe,
Yeah, and then-
myself, Ryan.
So at the time, John, we're all looking on Marketplace, right? And all
Yeah.
around the country, there's like 8
Yeah.
Mystics, right? This is like September,
Fly
right?
out to Idaho.
Like December. by December, there were no more Mystics anywhere in the country for sale on Facebook Marketplace. These fucking guys, not me. These guys went out and bought them all up. They flew all over the place. Nick wound up in a field in Illinois, trapped in a field, 3 hours away, no ride back to the airport.
Yeah, no, it's happening. You can, you know.
I bought a black '94 Cobra with
Yeah.
19,000 original miles. I mean,
Yeah.
clean, like, just clean. Carl brought it to Carl's shop. He did paint correction, PPF on it. I mean, this thing looks better probably than the day it rolled off the factory floor. Paid $18,000 for the car. I mean, it was just mint. Used the stickers, the factory stickers, the writing. The car is beautiful, right?
What?
The point I'm making is to get a car like that, this SN, for that price. What's a Foxbody in that condition cost today?
Oh yeah, 45 grand. You know what I mean? Well, here's a crazy example for you. So 3 years ago at Carlisle, 5,000 mile, one owner, 94 Cobra. You know, early one had a little different wing and a little different spat in the front. Original owner, I got the car for $14,000 from the original owner. Drove the car back home on the original tires, the original 94 tires. Caught all sorts of flack on all the groups for driving on those old tires. You're endangering everybody. Come on. Anyway, the thing drove like new. I sold it for 25 grand, and that was only 3 years ago. I think right now, even that car's gone up in value immensely. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
especially since you guys made them cool, they're going to go up in value. Well,
But listen, like you said, you lower that car.
yeah, it stands
You get that car low. You
Yeah.
put a nice set of wide wheels. I mean, that's the thing about those cars, right? What did Ford? Were they 245-inch tires stock?
Yeah, they were in like 2 inches, and it like even you see
fucking crime.
my son's
Where's that?
a 94. It was an old V6 car with a 5.4 in it now, and it's got the XXRs on it with 315s, or maybe it's even 335s he's got on it. But and the thing sits low, and it's always looked mean as hell. You know what I mean?
You can get a set of 11 and a half inch wheels. Ryan's done it. 335 tire. You're pushing it. You can get that without having a mini tub the fucking car. I mean, you put a nice, like I'm running. What am I running? I think I'm running a 305 in the back.
Yeah.
I got a set of 18-inch wheels. I think I got 11s because I don't want to. I hate scraping. So I was a little conservative, but you get a nice wide tire, you lower those fucking cars, they look fucking sick.
Without hammering the hell out of it. You know what I mean? Like you can get a 315 on a Foxbody with a sledgehammer in a little time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or a Terminator in a sledge.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
Well, you're beating the shit out of it. You don't have to do that to an SN.
You don't have to do that with the SN, and like even with the Saleens, they do trim up the upper quarter panel, but that's hardly even necessary. But we all like to stance and want to push out the wheels. You know what I mean? So you probably do the back, but the SN cars have a ton of room up front. You know what I mean? Even my '99 Saleen has the forward swept control arms and the longer wheelbase, and I don't have any rubbing issues even with the wheels pushed forward.
And if correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand, the 96 and up that went to a modular motor, right?
Yeah, this is the underdog. This is a 4.6 two-valve with a trick flow head, 22 pounds of boost, and
you could pretty much drop a Coyote in on that K member, right? And
and I should have done that before. I should have done that like the last 4 times I had the motor out of the car. You know what I mean? But,
wait till that becomes mainstream when people are buying, the 96 and ups, and they start dropping in these Coyotes. From what I understand, it's pretty easy.
We did. Yeah, we remember that purple one we did, the Grimace Reaper. John Wheelman, he works for us. We did that car 4 years ago now, and that was a Gen 1 Coyote and a purple 96 Roush, and that car was a load of fun. You know what I mean? And it's an easy swap. I highly recommend the Coyote swap and an SN, but I like to spend money, wrong and beat myself up. 0.6. But actually,
all you got to do, Parker, all you got to do is just do car math. If you just do the car math, it doesn't really
It don't add up. It
It
don't
never
add up.
adds up to a loss. It never adds up to a loss. Yeah.
You know what's it take to make 700 wheel horse with the Coyote? You know what I mean?
You know what? We just had that conversation the other day. I don't even want that much anymore.
You really
I'm
need
happy for 5,500 naturally aspirated, because anything more than that, it just gets to
Well,
be,
you know what? There's
next level fuel systems, next level power, next level maintenance. It takes the fun out of it.
Well,
Becomes a
that's
job.
just it. You run into these guys that you used to know from like street racing or, whatever, just boulevard cruising, whatever you want to call it. And somewhere around the low 12s, high 11s is when it stops not being a street car and being fun. I'm talking back in the day math. I know now today
Yeah.
stock cars do that, but when you start getting too radical of a cam, too much compression, you know what I mean? Like I said, this is the back in the day stuff. Nowadays, you see what people's cars are doing. Like you guys have these cars, these supercharged Coyotes and stuff can be streetable and make that kind of power. But
My next dream build right now that I have in my plan that I got wheels going is SN, naturally aspirated with
Yeah.
a Coyote and a.
yeah, like a 500 horsepower car.
That's it.
Yeah, maybe
That's it.
450. That's plenty. I mean, really, how do we really drive these cars? I put 17,000 miles on my 99 Saleens. Most of it was cruising down the highway doing 65 miles an hour in the rain with a 5-year-old in the back going to Detroit or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might punch it. That thing might be wide open, 6/4 mile passes and 17,000 miles.
Listen, guys, I know a guy, Vinny Allegretta,
Yeah.
that does not agree with this conversation.
Yeah, no, 100%. But I heard him chirping the other day. Hey, I
We've had
think I need to bring I think he said the Sonic Blue Terminator back on pump gas so he can enjoy the longer trips and getting, you know what I mean? So it's not a bad thing. No one's taking. Hey, we are fortunate. We have Vinny. That's our guy.
That man likes to go fast.
He's
Burning
insane.
smell of tires and rubber. We hang out with Vinny, go to the track, and we suck it all in.
Well, I was trying to talk to Vinny about a friend of mine locally. He got into these Coyotes and Foxbodies, and he's turned into like Dr. Jekyll. You know what I'm saying? Like he's insane. You know what I mean? Every time you see him, he's doing 160 miles an hour down. He's getting us thrown out of spots where we can hang out because he's just Coyote crazy. You know what I mean? He's out there racing motorcycles and stuff, and I'm telling Vinny about him, and all of a sudden you can see Vinny's face change. He's like, every time I get in my car, I do 180.
You know what? He lives the furthest from us, right?
I know I'm gonna get arrested. He's like, and I get it because even when we built that Coyote car, I like to drive these cars and work the stupid bugs out like the air conditioning and crap. And I would hear it when I'd lay down in bed. I'd hear the thing spinning 8,000 RPM with the side exhaust. You know what I mean? It was like it was calling me to beat the hell out of it. You know what I mean? But
We came back from Carlisle last year. Us, me, John, Vinny, Carl, Joe. Honestly, I don't know how. Thank God, like we didn't really get pulled over, and
these
we
guys,
were
yeah.
we were at like 140 to 100.
No.
Vinny was like at 170 because
So-
I was at 148 and I was nowhere near Vinny.
You got to give some context. You got to give some context. We left Carlisle Sunday morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. We were driving our new GT 500s.
Yeah.
Okay.
I put in the Google Maps
Transmission.
home, right? It said arrival time 2.5 hours, 3.5 hours, 8:30 a.m. Right? We get on 78. There's nobody on the road. It's early.
Yeah.
Vinny takes off. I mean, we were in Mexico. He went like 160, so we were just chasing him, and we were at 150, 160. He had to let off. We did this, Parker, for like an hour, right?
Yeah.
Of course, we're killing it. I think they probably get about 170 miles to a tank just driving it. We were driving at that spirit. We had to pull off. We had to get gas. We pull off somewhere in PA. We get gas. We stopped. We got coffee. We filled them up. We sat around. We chatted for about 5 minutes. We were there 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 15 minutes. Then we got back on the road. Now remember, 5 o'clock, we hit the road. GPS said 8:30 arrival time at home. We're hauling ass. We spent 15 minutes in the gas station. I'm not shitting you. I got home at 8:01.
It's
Yeah, no,
almost
we were definitely shaving minutes off.
We were doing more than that, I'll tell you. But they fucking ride so nice at that speed, man.
yeah,
Jesus, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Now I got Life 360. My wife's gonna be chirping on me. Well, how fast are you going? You better slow down.
well, that's the thing. You know, I'm nervous about all these stupid laws they got and stuff. You know what I mean? Like the last thing I want is my car. Like I don't even want my car to get inspected. I don't want them to put a jack under the thing to check. They don't even know where the ball joint is. Get the hell away. You know what I mean? I don't,
Do they still do that in Mass? Do they still give
yeah,
do they still do a detailed inspection on older cars?
yeah, I don't participate in that service. So yeah, we
No, out here in New York, I think it's any cars that are over 20. Is it 25 years old, Nick? It's just a safety inspection, right? They're
well,
just basically
yeah,
looking at your
Yeah.
they're
yeah,
looking at your tires, your brakes, your fucking your
Yeah, but they got a little strict here because of these BMWs running around,
yeah,
rice burning and
yeah.
shooting fire
Well,
out the back. But
yeah,
you got
even
a
up.
little nuts over here. They're pulling people over for like no front
Yeah.
license plates. They're really cracking down. A few of
Well,
my friends got like some nasty tickets.
yeah, well, right down the street from the shop here at the local Home Depot, somebody got shot like 14 times last weekend, and it's like, you know, you get these bad, and like I was talking about my buddy with the Coyote car. It's like when a 54-year-old man becomes the bad element. It's kind of
Yeah.
funny,
No,
but
we got, you know what, man? It's here. We got these kids on these subways
oh, I
in New
seen them.
York.
They're like
That's what's going on.
swimming through the
Well, they
freeway.
dropped. Two of them fell off the train by the Williamsburg Bridge because there was a divider. They were
Yeah.
standing up, bam, and you could see them. Now
So
it's all over media.
so that's a perfect segue because I wanted to talk to you about this, John, right? We're
Yeah.
talking about the kids, we're talking about the car scene today, right? I mean, we've seen the stories last year with that what did that fucking show out there in Pigeon Forge? They got shut down with those
Oh
takeovers and
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah. Slammed enough. That
Slammed
was
enough, slammed
yeah,
enough, right? But forget those kids. They're always going to be idiots. We were
yeah.
idiots too when we were younger. Probably not that bad, but
No.
so we're all older now, right? We're all older now, right? So we've seen the progression of the community. We did a lot of stupid shit in the 80s and 90s too. Not like that, but you got
There was
back
no
in.
cameras.
There was no cameras, thank God, right? No camera phones and stuff like that. Um, but you got back in 19, right? So you took a hiatus, right? And
Yeah,
me
yeah. I
too.
mean,
Talk,
I was always involved, yeah, but I'll go ahead. Sorry, finish your question.
okay, talk about the community, the Foxbody, SN, 7904 community today. What's the difference between a community today and then at our age? And this is guys our age, right? Mostly late 30s, the mid 50s, right?
Yeah.
Compared to when we were younger. What's the difference between the two eras?
When we were younger, it was about the logistics. It was cheap, fast car, or let's be honest, like why did we get Fox bodies when we were young? You know, you're trying to pick up a girl, maybe, right? That's why people bought Camaros or Mustangs, or you wanted to go fast and go fast cheap, and the Mustang was the way to go. So back then, I would say it was more people that were like, you know how car culture people more are analytical. You know what I'm saying? Like it's swap meets and stuff like that. Back in the day, you're going to meet a lot of definitely like-minded people. Now that Fox bodies are so mainstream, wouldn't you say they're mainstream now? Like everybody knows that they're cool now. Like back in the
Yep.
day, a lot of people
They're
would
cool
like
again. Yeah.
yeah, like back in the day, even when I thought they were really cool, a lot of people didn't think that a Mustang and notchback was cool back in the day. You know what I mean? They
It
didn't
was
look
my first car because I couldn't afford a GT. I was like, who
right,
wants a knock?
right, and an LX hatchback. You know, it's still it wasn't an exciting car. You know what I mean? And as much as everybody has a little disdain for the GT now, wouldn't you agree that GT is not as popular as the LX?
Nope.
I think the LX is more popular and for sure. But back in the day, everybody wanted the ground effects. When those aero cars came out and they were new, that was cool, you know.
It was
And they actually, so what's changed? I'd say it's opened up to a lot of different people. You know, people that are building the crazy expensive cars, people that don't know anything about cars and just Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys were like the real outliers back in the day. People that had these over the top builds, there was only a handful of them back in the 90s. You know what I mean? A very small amount, and now all of a sudden it's blossomed into like everybody's building these nasty
John,
cars.
honestly, I don't think there was any. I mean, mid '90s, late '90s. I don't think there was any crazy over the top builds. I mean, if it was
Well,
a fucking race car.
well, there was some like prototype stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like you had guys like Dr. Gene Deputy and stuff. Come on, remember that big intake sticking through the hood? You know what I'm saying?
Well, it
There
was all about horsepower. It was all about
Yeah, but
speed and
that was
who can
still an
get
over the top car. You know what I'm saying? Like you see like the racing Jason car, and
Yeah.
and there were you're right. There was I think I just yeah you're right. I can't think of any. Oh yeah, there's some out there. Look at Doug Cannon's chopped GT. You know what I'm saying? That's a
The blue
cool
one,
car.
the
Yeah,
chopped
the
one,
blue
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some iconic builds out there. You know what I mean?
a handful
That's
compared
what
to our
that's,
era now.
that's what I
If
said. Now it's like you walk by a lot of these Predator with Fox bodies. It's almost like you see a resurgence of the small block coming back. Like a lot of people are getting back into the small block. You know what I mean? And I love the Coyote engine, and they're cool for different reasons, but. Make no mistake, you can make a ton of power, more power than you need in a Fox body with even a stock block 302. You know what I mean? You look at Alex.
I'm with you on that though, John. I've been hearing a lot of everybody with the Coyotes these days, and I'm there. I did it to the teal car, but I also have a 347 stroked 88 T-top, and you know what? The push rod motor, everybody's just leaning to the sound of that damn push rod. It's just,
Yeah,
And
you
I
can't beat it.
feel it's
it
something
looks like it
strong.
belongs in the car. You know what I mean? Like
People are
that.
trying the Coyote, but then they're bouncing back. I
Yeah.
guess,
Well,
not
well, yeah.
bashing it, just
No, and I love the Coyote. It's like it's the kind of power that you dreamed of making back in the day. It's like so linear. They make great power. And just when you think the thing's going to turn off, it keeps going. Like pretty good.
It revs really high. I mean,
Yeah.
the small block.
And
I
the
mean,
thing like that boosted 4.62 valve I have, that car it's kind of like a slingshot. Once it gets into boost, it's crazy fast, but it doesn't make a lot of low end power. And then you take a car like that wide body car that I built, that ugly one. That's a high compressor.
Saleens.
The Saleen Mustang. John, I can't believe you can't pronounce the name of my car. The
so
Saleen. It's not a Saleen Mustang. It's a Saleen.
Saline. Okay, I've been
Saleen
saying
Mustang.
saline. Oh, that's a New York accent, Parker. Come
No,
on. I
I
mean,
know it is, and that's what.
yeah,
You,
come on.
yeah, you go to car shows and they'll spell it phonetically on their poster board, but most
See,
kind of like
but getting back to the culture itself, right?
yeah,
The community, right? I think you had mentioned like it was more obviously there was no social media, there
yeah,
was no
social media,
camera
yeah,
phones. Everything was local for the
but
most
you had to
part. Like
meet at the
shit in
parking lot.
magazines.
You,
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like that's here's a good point. Like podcasts. Let's talk about like what podcasts are doing. Like it seems like we all have a thing of you got to have a podcast, and how'd you get into Mustangs? Blah blah blah. It, you know, uh, Podcasts I think should be. Remember like how the Super Fords were. Like instead of having somebody on for 2.5 hours to talk about nothing, right? You know how you see a lot of people doing that? Of course they're going to talk about nonsense. You know what I mean? I like how you guys have a short format. You know what I mean? Um, but you should do like articles. You know what I'm saying? Like have people on that build things instead of just people who bought a car and put a set of wheels on and like to go to the shows. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
that's what's brought into the Fox bodies and I get it, and I sell a lot of cars to people that just want to have a Fox body and go to a car show. You know what I mean? But that's changed the culture a bit. You see a lot of like T-shirt sales and memorabilia, crap like that. You know what I mean? Sponsorships. That kind of stuff. It seems like it makes no sense to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how many followers you have? Is it really about how many followers you have, or the quality of the followers? You know what I mean? Like, what are we all doing here on social media? You know, what's
Well,
the
right
end
now
goal?
we're trying to get everybody together for the community that we have. We're trying to
Yeah,
get the SM, like everybody's trying. That like Jen has a great focus on what she wants to do.
yeah,
We gauge it, like we all have other cars and stuff like that. This is a cool community, so we're getting to know everybody just like everybody else does. It's like, yeah, everybody's got a different kind of podcast. We click on, like, we record just sitting at a table, for instance. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And if it's good, it's good. If it's not, if it's good, you hear it. If not, it goes whatever. But it's just more of like day to day stuff, and we want to get to know who you are and what's your background, who made you, how are you, what cars you have, and you know what I mean. And then from there on, we grow to everything else. The shirts and all that stuff comes with the thing because a lot of people ask. I'm sure if you had, look,
oh yeah.
most of these friends, how many shirts I got,
I'm wearing one
like,
of my shirts right now. Yeah, no,
hey, I
no,
got,
no. I totally get it. Like
Give me one
we,
second, guys. Yeah,
yeah.
continue.
Yeah, like we keep seeing things like, giveaways and all this stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, uh,
but it
it,
worked.
but I'm
Happy to
saying,
do it.
yeah, I guess, yeah, I'm just saying, like, at some point, like, I
People
think
want to win stuff. People want to feel. Listen,
yeah,
everybody. What's
you know
the
what,
number
and
one thing is, John? Everybody says I never win these things,
you know
right?
what, you know what. It's yeah, people. I'm not everybody. You know what I mean. I always look at things from my perspective. I'm not like a gambler or stuff. You know what I mean? Like those waffles and stuff.
Oh,
I've done them, and
Nick.
That's like that's like something like I'd never participate in. I don't buy scratch tickets. You know what I'm saying? I don't have health insurance. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so
I'm,
you'll never win the lottery, unfortunately. But and it might be 1 in a million,
and
but you'll never win because you don't play,
I don't
and
like
it's
the
fine.
odds.
I respect that.
I'd
Look,
rather buy a Foxbody.
when we came to the Fox Frenzy show, not last year, the year before.
Yeah.
You know how many I won? Like those lights, I
Yeah,
won
yeah, 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 yeah,
all the prizes. I played all the raffles, and
yeah.
I almost like we won so many little gadgets. And it's like for me, you know what? We do it at our show. We raffle off cars. So there's a Calypso convertible I bought in South
Yeah.
Carolina. Not to get off topic, but I brought it. I had it, drove it, took what I need off of it.
Yeah.
Beautiful car. Someone threw it up at a raffle 2 years ago in our
Yeah,
show. You know what I mean?
yeah, at the Vicious Tangs. Yeah.
Yep, that's our
Yeah.
show. We threw it up. The guy wanted for $100. My first sale, I was like, "Hey, listen, buddy." He's like, "Man, I only got $100, folded $100 bill. I'll never forget." That was my first customer. I was like, "You know what? It only takes is one chance and one number." And he picked the number, and it ended up being the
Now
drawing.
he
So
owns now he owns the New York plate, $100, and he loves that car. He's a proud owner of it. But I think what John's saying is the community's changed a lot, right? And a lot of that is with social media,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The exposure that's out there.
Right, right. Well, okay. Like I guess what I'm saying is like the car culture where people are like obsessed with the mechanics of it and the actual cars and not the scene particularly. Um, they're the type that, like I'm saying, are more analytical type people, which kind of like tends them to be a certain type. You know what I mean? And then when something blossoms into everybody, just I want to have a Foxbody. Now you're running into a million different types of people. You know what I'm saying? And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's changed a little bit the dynamic
But
as far as I.
it is what's driving the market up,
Oh,
right? And
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
it's what's
Yeah,
driving the price of these cars up, and there's people that are totally against that and hate hate
yeah, I
the
don't
guys that
understand. Yeah,
I mean,
and I hear a lot of people saying I don't understand it, but people do get upset when things sell for more than they sold them for 5 years ago, and you know.
yeah, but look, like I was saying before, it's a matter of do you have your Fox that you had when you got out of the game or whatever? You said no,
Well,
I sold
yeah,
it, this and that. Well, I still have, except my first one, but every other car that I bought in the Mustangs, like that, I pretty much have my second car, my third car, my fourth
Yeah.
car, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Like I still have them. Like I had a Fox since I was 18 years old.
And
I'm
you
sorry,
got the same
17 years old.
Yeah. No, I got, no, I'm not that sentimental. I've had one for maybe 19 years. That's the longest time I've owned the 89 Saleen I have. I don't get sentimental about them at all.
Me
You know,
neither.
I
Reblue John.
even bought my my first Saleen, number 88221. I bought it back off of a guy. I saw it on Marketplace and I went and bought it. And the first thing I did was resell it to a guy in New Jersey. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Well,
I
listen,
sat there for a
listen.
minute.
I'm not sentimental either.
Yeah.
I built Reblue, and it's up in your neck of the woods now, John. It
Yeah,
left
yeah,
here
that's right.
3 days
Yeah,
ago. Yeah.
yeah. No, I
Yeah.
don't. I don't get sentimental about them at all. And whereas my father does, you know what I mean. He wants to hold on to every one of them.
And so do I.
Yeah,
If I could save all of them, I would save all of them.
yeah,
I don't have a car problem. I have a storage problem.
yeah. Well, and what I like to say is like I'm like a lizard or an iguana. You grow to the size of your cage. So when you get a new 15,000 square foot warehouse, all of a sudden you got room for another 30 freaking cars. And
It's the only thing that's holding Nick back, right, Nick?
natural,
Believe me,
progression.
I bought a house because I had a big garage and I rent out and I got a garage space. I rent my house has a 2-car garage with a lift in it. I got some there. I have a shop where I'm at now. I got like 9, 10 in here, and I'm maxed. And I'm like, shit, I can't buy anything else.
You know what you got to do, Nick? You know what you got to do? You got to move to Mass, where the property is much cheaper in Parker's neck of the woods, because he's got like 20 cars sitting downstairs
Oh,
on the
yeah.
back of his garage.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You make a lot less money out here too. It's kind of like
It's all relative.
It's all totally relative. You might make more on the island, but it's going to cost you more. But then you get to have better toys too. But you
No,
know,
I'll be honest. What I saw a couple weeks ago at the SN show in North Carolina, John,
yeah.
that's where my final home base is going to be. It's going to end up being somewhere down that route.
I'm thinking the
Alongside of
same.
that, you know.
Get
Yeah.
retired down that way in a couple of years, right, Nick?
Oh yeah, the
we
cars
speak about it all
team
the time.
is phenomenal. I would.
You know, it's
definitely-
funny because like you spending time down there, I feel like the people are so much more genuine. Even like people you meet at gas
You
stations
should
and
buy a
stuff.
house down there just to have.
Yeah, well, in like Massachusetts and New York, you know what I mean? If you try to spark up a conversation or anything with the gas station attendant in Massachusetts, they're going to hit the panic button. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie. In New York, if you drive a Foxbody right now, it's so hot that at any gas station, there's people
Yeah,
talking to you.
oh,
all over
yeah.
the place.
Yeah.
You
But,
know?
I was gonna say I can't fuel up at a gas station without 3 people coming over wanting to talk about the Foxbody. You guys our age,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I've had a couple of cars where, like that purple Roush with the Coyote and that wide body I just did and that red rum car. Some cars, like when you see little kids, like 6th graders riding by on their bikes and fist pumping, going, yeah, America and crap like that.
Rev it.
Yeah, well, you did something right when the thing's obnoxious and little kids are fist pumping in the air. You know what I mean? That's when
You got to also look at like social media, right, John? Right?
yeah,
Like you talked about, like I know you're like, well, it's kind of like watered down the community. You got different personalities in it and stuff like that. But you got to look. We started out this conversation. You talking about you bought yesterday a ratted out Saleen, right?
yeah, yeah.
You purchased it, you threw it up online, and it was sold an hour later. You
Yeah.
weren't doing that in the 90s without social media, right?
Oh, hell no. Yeah,
There's
yeah,
positives and negatives to what
yeah,
we have available to us today, right?
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what it is, John?
yeah.
People, you're like me. I'm old fashioned. I don't really know too much of it, but it's actually a tool. And I'm like,
Yeah.
forget that thing. And then my kids are like, Dad, but you can do all this. And it's like, oh,
Oh,
wow,
yeah.
really?
I obviously know how to use it. I'm making a good living off of the damn social media, but so I hate people who are frauds for one thing. You know what I mean? In general, and there's a lot of that out there, and it's real easy to like. Man, I'm not talking outright total frauds. I mean frauds who are, half functioning in the community. You know what I mean? I hate seeing stuff like that. And so some things get under my skin, you know what I mean? And like sometimes when you know the behind the scene things, little things are triggers for you. So, that's why it might seem like I'm a grumpy old man and let's even talk about the beginning. You've seen how I clash with people on Facebook and stuff. It's no secret. Remember when you started the Fox Den on the Facebook page? That kid who made the T-shirts. I got bullied by John Parker on Facebook today.
Yes,
He was selling
yes,
T-shirts with my name on them because I couldn't take his YouTube post that he shared on every single Foxbody.
It was Chris Butler. Chris Butler.
I got bullied by.
I bought one of those shirts. Yeah, I bullied Chris Butler on Facebook.
Yeah.
White T-shirt. I have it. I own it.
So, so you remember when you started the thing, it was like I got an invite to the Foxbody Den, an exclusive club for real Foxbody players, and the first thing I see is a post from that touch hole, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't not say anything. And it's like you watch his YouTube videos, and it's like, oh, I just got this piece off of eBay, and it's a column surround. Oh crap! I broke it in half. Buy my car, 50 grand, and it's like, holy crap! Just because you got a Foxbody and you know how to post a YouTube channel doesn't mean you should. Can we have a little? You wouldn't see Evan Smith writing an article in Super Ford about I got Dookie wheels off of a Chevy van on my Mustang when I bought it. Okay, that shit wouldn't fly. So we got to have a little journalistic integrity. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, look. Some people, and some people do things for views, right?
Yeah.
On their YouTube channels and stuff like that.
I can call them out on it. What I mean? Come on.
Yeah. Some people treat this like the social media, the online stuff.
They pride themselves on being ignorant. You know what I mean? A lot of people just pride themselves on being ignorant, and then you look stupid if you go along with it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, look.
Sometimes
At the end of the day, there are people that rely on it for business, right? Like yourself, right? Like yourself. Chris, Infamous Project, right? He posts.
I love his content.
His content is great.
He has something to add. You know what I mean? I like people that will have something to add and that they just don't want notoriety for.
It's useful information. It's when you put useful information, like everybody uses it these days. I use it. You get stuck. I was trying to do a column the other day. You know what I mean? And it was like A, B, C, D, and this thing gives you stuff by stuff.
Like look at Chris the Infamous Project. You know what I mean? Look at who he had Mike Murillo on today. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I've got to catch up, but I saw the.
Right. Let's have more guests like that. Let's talk about why not have people like Steve Saleens and people who are pace setters in this industry.
Steve Saleens right now might be in a hot seat with some of his stuff. So I don't know about him.
You know what? Regardless, he's a real live guy that would come on a show, and you can talk to a legend, a pioneer. You know what I mean? And everybody want to laugh about the drywall screws and stuff. He really try jumping through the hoops of the EPA back.
He owes some money right now. There's some parts that are not being.
Yeah. But he's still on all these shows signing. He'd be glad to call in. I'm just saying, how about you get some, Evan Smiths and some pioneers, people, and let's not reward bad behavior is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I mean, it's like anything else. Social media opens up. It's an open platform for the good and the bad. You see that in the car community,
right?
You see that in politics, right? And I'm not going to get into politics, but you see
I think it's directly related, John. I think when you see politicians like outright lying and being dishonest and expecting us to believe nonsense, it starts to seep into. I don't want it to seep into car culture because the analytical people that were the original car culture see right through that crap, and it sets up like alarms. You know what I'm saying? And those are the things that set up chills on my spine. You know what I mean? So,
listen, we're all here for different reasons, but at the end of the day, right? Most of us are here just to enjoy the cars, talk about the cars, right? Celebrate these things. We're getting older. The cars are getting older, and it's 20 years from now, we're all in our 70s. We won't be doing this, right? We'll probably be being fed at a home somewhere through a straw. Some of us won't be here, right?
Oh yeah,
right?
I probably got 20 good years left in me, and and you're and I really like said to myself, I'm not going to let like some of these like online tips poison me because it does take the fun right out of things. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want that to happen. And sometimes I take a step back and I'll say, for 2 months, I'm just not going to comment on anything. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes even commenting on the most innocent thing can turn into a huge argument. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
It's
oh,
just like text messages
like
sometimes, like,
you
you
don't
know what I
understand
mean?
the inflection of what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's easy to take things out of context
Yeah,
when you're like
and
Nick
I
said,
get I get fired up because a lot of these things are like on a post of a car you have for sale or something. You know what I mean? And we've all dealt with those people, and I've even had people get me fired up that aren't even real accounts. Like they'll send me a message like, your hood's a piece of shit. I'm gonna come over to your shop and kick you in the nuts. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, like I'm turning red, and I'm like, who the hell am I talking to? It's a made up account.
that's
So.
that's that's those Chinese bot farms and the Russian bot
Yeah,
farm. Look at
that's
this John Parker off about Foxbody Mustangs.
That's great.
Listen, like we said, we like to do this short form, and we're at an hour and 15 minutes. We don't normally go this long. John, I want to get you back on. Maybe we do a second episode with you. I think record this week because I think we got a lot more to say. I really want to cover this topic about the modern car culture. Just talk about the modern car culture versus the old car culture. But for now, like I said, we're just crossing over the hour and 16-minute
Yeah, I got to go to bed too.
mark. Yeah, so I'd like to thank you for coming on. Nick, thank you for joining me. To all of our watchers, please do the thing. I say it all the time. Like, share, rate us, subscribe,
Subscribe.
follow, do all those wonderful things. It really means a lot to us. And that is the episode number 10 or 11. I'm not sure. I'll have the right episode in the notes. And thank you for joining the Fox Body Den. Parker, don't go anywhere.